deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at self-discipline.
Mm.
And to help us out with that,
Yeah.
we are going to be looking at a video called Overcome Your Limits with Self-Discipline from a YouTube channel called Inner Balance Red Print.
Mm.
Have you ever felt like,
I love that channel.
oh yeah, have you ever felt like you're battling procrastination
Oh my gosh.
or just overwhelmed with everything you need to do?
Constantly.
This video is all about how self-discipline can help us conquer those things and actually achieve our goals.
I think the coolest thing about that video is that they don't just talk about the surface level.
Yeah.
They actually dive into the science behind it.
Oh, wow.
So they actually explain that it's not just about willpower.
Right.
It's about training your brain,
Okay.
your prefrontal cortex specifically, which
Yeah.
is the part of your brain that's in charge of planning and decision making.
Yeah, all the hard stuff.
All the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the best part is you can actually strengthen it through practice. It's literally like working out your brain.
So it's like a mental muscle
Oh, yeah.
that you can work on.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so cool. So it's not just about forcing yourself to do stuff you don't want to do.
Right.
It's about,
It's about getting better at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
building that ability.
And that's where the video comes in with all this practical advice.
Yeah.
They talk about using time blocking techniques.
Time blocking, what's that?
So time blocking is basically scheduling certain times for certain tasks throughout your day.
Go ahead.
It's really helped me to eliminate distractions
Yeah.
and really be productive.
Okay, so instead of just I'll do it later,
Right.
you're giving yourself okay, from 2 to 3 p.m., I'm doing this,
Right.
and that's it.
You've made that decision and you're sticking to it.
I like that, yeah.
And, the video goes even further and they talk about how self-discipline can help us with our finances, with impulse purchases.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Which I think we all struggle with that.
Definitely, yeah.
Especially online shopping.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just
Add to cart.
click,
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah.
So they suggest using something called the 30-day rule.
The 30-day rule.
Yes. So
Correct.
basically, when you're tempted to buy something,
Yeah.
you force yourself to wait 30 days before actually hitting that buy button.
Okay.
So it's like a cooling off period to kind
Yeah.
of make sure that you really want it.
I see. So you have
It's not just a fleeting desire.
yeah, that moment of
Yeah.
ooh, shiny.
Exactly. And that's where that self-discipline comes in
Yeah.
to help you make those smarter financial decisions.
Right. It's you're choosing long-term over that instant gratification.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing the video talks about is this link between self-discipline and self-confidence,
Okay.
which is really interesting
I knew
because, when you accomplish something, no matter how small it is, it kind of gives you this boost.
yeah, it's I did that.
It's I did that.
I can do other things.
Right. And the video explains that every time you do that, you're kind of proving to yourself that you're capable
Yeah.
of achieving things.
You said you're going to do it and you did it.
Exactly. And it's not just about checking things off a list.
Right.
It's you're building this inner strength
Oh, I like that.
and you get a more positive self-image.
Yeah, it's you're making deposits into your self-confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, building it up.
And then that confidence fuels even more self-discipline. So it's this upward spiral.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
if you do something small,
Yeah.
then you feel good about it, and then you're okay, I could do something a little bigger.
Right. Exactly.
And then you're just building and
You
building.
should keep going. Yeah.
I like that.
Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive, but the video also talks about how self-discipline can actually reduce stress.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel when I'm undisciplined, that's when I get stressed.
Right, because you're constantly
Running around,
reacting to everything.
putting out fires.
Exactly, but when you have that self-control,
Yeah.
it's you're more in control.
Right.
You're
yeah.
being proactive instead of reactive.
You're driving the car.
Yeah, you're in the driver's seat.
Okay, yeah, instead of being in the back seat, where are we going?
Yeah, and that definitely leads to a calmer, more balanced mindset.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
And you know what else? The video even goes into how self-discipline can impact our relationships.
Wait, really? I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah, it's it makes sense when you think about it because,
Yeah.
Self-discipline helps us communicate better. It helps us control our impulses,
Yeah.
which can sometimes lead to arguments.
Right.
And it helps build trust and respect in our relationship.
So it's you're choosing.
It's about choosing to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Even in those heated moments.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
it definitely strengthens relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool because the video goes beyond just the basic benefits of self-discipline.
Okay.
And they start talking about how it can actually unlock creativity.
That's interesting.
and problem solving.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does being disciplined make you more creative?
Well, it's about like giving yourself the time to focus.
Right.
So when you're not constantly distracted or like procrastinating,
Yeah.
you can actually like immerse yourself in the task
Okay.
and explore different approaches.
Yeah.
And that's where like the aha moments come from.
So it's like the self-discipline clears your mind
Exactly.
so that creativity can come through.
Clearing the clutter to make space for creativity.
I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And they also talk about how self-discipline can impact your mental health because it helps you to kind of like cultivate a calmer mind,
Right.
which then leads to being more resilient when you're dealing with stress and all that.
So it's like building up that ability
Yeah.
to handle whatever comes your way.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you have the tools
Right.
to deal with it.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's like almost like a muscle too for your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we've all dealt with procrastination,
Yes.
that monster that just like,
Hangs over you.
yeah, it's always there.
Procrastination is my middle name, I think.
But the video actually gives us some tips on how we can overcome it.
Okay, I'm all ears because I
Yeah.
need help with that.
So they basically say it's about prioritizing,
Okay,
setting clear goals,
right.
and then this is key, experiencing that sense of achievement
Yes.
when you actually do the thing.
That's the best part.
That feeling, that's like what motivates you.
Right, because then you're like, okay, I did it. I can do the next thing.
Exactly. It's like this positive feedback loop.
Yeah, I like that.
You do something, you feel good, you do the next thing.
It's like you build momentum.
Exactly.
Right.
And the video really emphasizes that self-discipline isn't about being restricted or deprived.
Right.
It's about being empowered.
Go.
It's about making choices that align with your goals, your values.
It's about choosing.
It's about choosing long-term satisfaction
Yeah.
over that instant gratification.
I like that.
And actually, the video even mentions how important self-discipline is for leadership, which is really interesting when
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah?
Leaders need self-discipline not just for themselves,
Right.
but to inspire
And to motivate others.
their team.
Right.
So a leader who embodies self-discipline
Sets a good example.
sets a powerful example, yeah.
Yeah.
And it creates like this culture of accountability.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and excellence.
Like leading by example.
Exactly, you're showing them what it looks like. And the video, they actually share some stories of people who have achieved incredible things
Oh, cool.
through their self-discipline.
Okay.
Like athletes pushing their limits, entrepreneurs building businesses from nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so inspiring.
It's like those stories that are like, I could do it too.
Exactly. It shows you that anything is possible.
Right. It's not just like
If you have that determination.
discipline,
Mhm.
not just like this magical thing. It's like
Okay.
people actually working at it.
It's about putting in the work.
Yeah. I like that.
So after hearing all that, like, how do we actually get better at self-discipline?
Right. That's a good
It's
question.
like, what are some practical steps? Well, one of the biggest takeaways from the video is to start small.
Okay.
Don't try to change everything at once.
Right.
It's about building momentum,
Yeah.
one habit at a time.
Okay.
So start with something small and manageable.
Right.
And as you get better, you can increase the challenge.
It's like working out. You don't start with the heaviest weight.
Exactly. You start with something you can handle,
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
and then you build up.
I like that.
Another tip they give is to break down large tasks
Okay.
into smaller steps. Because
Bro.
when you do that,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Right. Because if you just look at this huge thing.
Right. It's like, I'm never going to get that done.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you break it down,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I can do this one little thing.
And you get to celebrate those small wins.
Exactly. And they actually emphasize that, celebrating your victories,
Oh, I like that.
no matter how small.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you motivated.
Right.
And it reminds you that you are capable.
It's like positive reinforcement.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's all about those small, consistent efforts
Right.
that lead to big change.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about making progress.
Yeah.
And I think we can all do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Wherever we are in our journey,
Hmm.
we can all take those small steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
I think it's really interesting how we sometimes think of self-discipline as being so strict,
Yeah, like almost.
like rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the video actually challenges that.
Okay.
They're saying it's more about empowerment
Okay.
than restriction.
Right.
It's about having the freedom to make choices
That are good for you.
that are good for you, that align with your goals. Yeah.
Okay, so instead of being like, I can't have that.
Right.
I was like, I'm choosing this instead.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it.
And it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There are going to be setbacks,
Yeah.
challenges along the way.
Totally.
But the more you practice,
Yeah.
the better you get at it.
Right.
Like, it becomes ingrained.
Okay.
It's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
The more you train it, the
Yeah.
stronger it gets.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And the video also mentions that, building self-discipline is hard.
Yeah.
It takes effort.
It does.
It's
work.
It's like going to the gym for your mind.
Right.
But just like with physical exercise,
yeah.
the more you do it,
The easier it gets.
the easier it gets.
Right. You build that habit.
Exactly. You build that habit, you build that muscle,
Yeah.
and the rewards are so worth it.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, you get so much out of it.
Yeah. We've been talking about all the benefits.
Exactly. All the benefits.
Yeah.
And, one thing the video emphasizes is that there's no one-size-fits-all
Right.
approach to self-discipline.
Okay.
What works for me might not work for you.
Totally.
So it's important to experiment.
Okay.
Find what works for you.
Right.
Find strategies that you can actually stick to.
Yeah. You got to like it too, right?
Exactly.
Can't be something that you absolutely hate doing.
Yeah, it's got to be something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Or at least, you can tolerate.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing that really stood out to me from the video was this idea of reframing self-discipline as self-love.
Ooh. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
How so?
Because it's about making choices that are good for you,
Right.
that nurture your well-being,
Yeah.
that help you grow as a person.
Okay.
So it's not about punishing yourself.
Right.
It's about
Taking care of yourself.
taking care of yourself. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it's that a lot.
Yeah, and it's a journey
Yeah.
that anyone can take.
Right.
No matter where you're starting from,
That's
it's have the power within you
Yeah.
to cultivate self-discipline.
It's not like this.
It's not like this magical thing.
Yeah. Some people have it.
Yeah, it's something you can develop.
It's a skill.
It's a skill, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if you're interested in learning more, overcome your limits with self-discipline.
Yeah. That's the video we're talking about.
That's the video. It's a fantastic resource.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
They have a ton tips, inspiring stories, and
Yeah.
it's a really powerful message.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Awesome. Well, I feel like I definitely have some things to think about and
Yeah.
some stuff I can start doing today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited to
Okay.
kind of start implementing some of these things.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me was
Yeah.
to start small.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right, because that's overwhelming.
Yeah, and then you just give up.
Yeah.
So start small, build momentum,
Yeah,
celebrate those small wins.
exactly. Yeah.
You just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I
Sure.
want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
If you could master just one area of your life through self-discipline,
Okay.
what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and what would be the impact of that?
Right, like what would that change?
Yeah, so think about your health, your finances, relationships, whatever.
Yeah. That's a powerful question.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to think about that.
me too.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Thanks for having me.
into the transformative power of self-discipline.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. Until next time,
Yeah.
keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.